Hi guys, thanks for stopping by the blog. As most of you are probably aware by now, the Lord is calling me and my family back to Gadsden, Alabama to serve at Hortons Bend Baptist Church, where we will be the associate pastor of students and families. It is with great excitement but bittersweet at the same time that we're leaving a church that we love, a church that this is my first full-time church, and so really I was able to learn, and they were so gracious to allow me to serve them, and absolutely amazing group of students. So just want to kind of give you a little background as to how this came about. That way there's no questions about what I've been doing in my time at Memorial Heights. So we haven't been looking for a church. We haven't been looking to go anywhere. So that should calm some fears if some people have thought we've been looking. But the 1st of May, I received a phone call from a dear friend of mine, one of my best friends actually, and he asked for my resume. If you know this guy, he is not one to just randomly ask for a resume. That's not normally what he does, but he called and asked for my resume, and so I sent it. He said that there was a church looking for a full-time student pastor in our hometown. Would I be interested, or be okay if he gave them my resume? I said that'd be fine. We weren't looking, but it was a little unusual that he called and asked for my resume. So he sent the resume, and a couple days later he called back and said this is the church that was looking, and so I got your resume to them. So fast forward about 3 or 4 days, got a phone call from the pastor of the church, and we talked for a little while, and he said, including this guy who is my best friend, one of my he's a guy I lean on. I've been leaning on him for a long time as far as encouragement and friendship. So not only had he recommended me to this particular church, but there's about 4 or 5 other people in the community that had actually called this church and said, hey, this is the guy you need to look at. And so apparently I was highly recommended in the local community. So I talked to the pastor and said, hey, we'll pray and see where this goes. And about a week later, I got a phone call from them, and they wanted us to come visit. And so we went down Memorial Day weekend and met with the church. I was able to preach on Sunday morning, go out to eat with some of the people in the church, some students. Monday we met them again. Sat down with all the adult leaders within the student ministry, plus all the parents and pretty much any other adult who wanted to come for about a 2.5 hour question and answer session. Great time together. Really, they were able to see my heart. I was able to see their heart. Just spent that time together. Met up with the pastor and the guy who's been over the students these past couple years, and just talked about our hearts and where we felt the Lord was going, and then obviously Wednesday night I was able to lead the student service. So spent those 4 days with them, and really through that God began to confirm that this is the path that He was leading us. Another confirmation actually came from my son. They do a children's church at this particular church we're going to that leaves after the singing part of the service, and he was a little apprehensive about even going to the church at first, but then when the children's service time to break off, he quickly got up, and he did announce that he was a little nervous, but quickly ran and joined the children's service. And so that was some confirmation right there that God was doing some work even in his heart to kind of confirm with us that maybe this is the place that He was leading us. And so His handprint, Jesus' handprint, is really all over this. This isn't just some random accident. Like I said, we weren't looking for a church. They called us, and so Jesus, and just the confirmation with my son, with these other recommendations from people that I knew in the community that we're going back to, and even some of the connections where some of the people in this particular church knew my grandmother through her home church in the community. So it's not coincidence at all. It's just some confirmation that that God really is and really was confirming for us that we're to go to this church. And so we are as certain about going back to Gadsden to serve at Hortons Bend as we were about coming to Claremore. There's no question in our hearts that that is exactly what God wants us to do. So a couple do want to kind of lay out a couple things here. Number one, we do have family in the area, and yes, it is our quote-unquote hometown, but we are not going back to Gadsden for family. That's not the reason we're going back. We're going back because God is leading us back there to this particular church, and as a matter of fact, when we left Gadsden initially, I didn't think we would ever go back. I thought Alabama was a possibility in the future, but never Gadsden. So we're not going back for family. We're not. I know a lot of people might think that, and we're not going back to this red carpet rolled out for us, super easy. Our kids are going to have to start new schools. We're starting in a new church where we just casually know people from the 4 days that we were together. So it is going to be tough. But God is going to provide for us, and we know that. And so I just want to clear that up. Didn't want anybody thinking that we're running away, running back home for family or anything like that. And so we're going because Jesus has called us to go. And if Jesus tells you to go places, you have to go. There's just no getting around it. So I hope to still keep up with everybody via social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I blog every once in a while, so I hope to keep up with everybody in the same way there. I hope to come back to Claremore and perform weddings for some of my students. Hopefully they'll still have me to do things like that. And but it is bittersweet. But we love Memorial Heights very much. But there is no question that we are being called to head back to Gadsden and serve as the associate pastor of students and families at Hortons Bend Baptist Church. And we are very, very excited about the opportunity that God is presenting us with there. Pumped about student work. Really excited about the opportunity to disciple and grow families. It's a passion of mine, and so I'm excited to be able to implement and see where that takes us. So if you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up on the blog or Facebook or whatever. I would love to talk and chat with you if you have any questions about what's going on. And but that's our story. So looking forward to the future back in Alabama, and already excited about the visits we'll make back to Oklahoma to see our friends here. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.